I need to refluff the hair. Oh my gosh. It's been a crazy, crazy week. Um, I was just listening to a thing about race shortages. And you know where? Just Japan. Now, you wouldn't think of shortages of rice in Japan, but hey, there's a rice shortage in Japan. When you start to tell the farmers not to grow things and to cut things back, well, I guess that's what you get. So let's put the lipstick on. That's what we got to do. Put the lippy on. And let's get into some of the astrology. So, couple things. Oh, got to fluff hair. Hold on, fluff. There we go. We fluff. Ooh, look at the gray. Holy shit. Good morning. Look at that fucking gray. Right there. This is a part of my hair. Before we get into the astrology, we're going to talk about me for a minute. When I was a kid, this part of my hair would be blonde. It would be like right blonde. Like I'd have a blonde streak in the front when I was a kid. Um maybe that's how my dad identified me as being one of his. She has a blonde streak, so that must be one of mine. Because my dad was blonde hair, blue eyes, right? And you wouldn't know it, like at all by looking at me. Because there's no blue eyes here, no blondness, no height. My gosh. See, they compacted my body into this little tiny cylinder and didn't allow me that length to expand everything nicely. That would have been a nice thing, but that Japan thing kind of threw me. They're becoming worse off than Greece when it comes to their economy and everything else. They also have what they call an inverted triangle, meaning that usually there's a big growth with young people and births and things like that, and then that grows your economy. That grows, allows things to prosper and renew and everything else. They have a reversed one where they have a huge elderly that is going up, and there's actually homeless encampments of elderly people in Japan. They also have where a lot of women commit crimes just so they could get arrested because their husbands died, their children have gone off, and they have no family, so they are all alone. And that's the other thing, about having a family and having children is it's kind of nice to have someone to take care of you. Now, we're in a society that doesn't think that way and haven't thought that way for a long time. And just 100 years ago. So 100 years ago. So we're going, you know, back to say, let's go. There goes the dog. Um, and just think about like 1925 and the death rates for children, death rates for pregnant, having a child was something that you you could die from. Even back then, even up until the 19 even into the 60s. The birth rates were definitely lowering, um, but they were still there. You don't hear so much of women dying as, from toxemia and things like that anymore. It's still there, it's still prevalent, but there's where doctors can do an intervention and really get to things or even see the cause before you give birth, kind of thing. So we're in an age where having a child's a little bit easier now. I know I digress with everything that I do, but I feel like this is the way, within our society we're seeing it even now. I'm doing a whole series on menopause. Now it's funny because I'm a Pluto Virgo. Now Pluto Virgos, um we're the Gen X generation, And a lot of us, I'm at the end or at the beginning of the Gen X generation, not the ending ones. I mean, a lot of the other Gen X's are like they're just in their 50s, middle 50s, and that. And then we have where we have the Pluto Libras. Now, the Pluto Libras are the ones that are making all the fuss right now. The Pluto Libras are the ones who are making like menopause. I'm having a hot flash. Oh my God, perimenopause. Those are the Pluto Virgos. I mean, Pluto Libras. And then you have the millennials, which are the Pluto Scorpios, which are just kind of on the cusp of everything, that are just like, oh my God, life is just so horrible. And then you go into the Pluto Sagittarius, like, oh, what's your problem? Like, they're not there yet. And so we have a huge population of Pluto Scorpios on the cusp there to the Pluto Libras. And the Pluto Libras are the ones that are coming in, and they're the ones that you're going to be see are the leaders, are the ones coming up. They will get guidance, some guidance, because we're coming to the end of the Pluto Leos. And the Pluto Leos were all the ones with like World War II. They're in their 80s. They are the ones where uh, the post-war, the baby boomers. Those are the Pluto Leos, right? Sorry, something was in my eye. And so those are the ones that you will see, sort of like they're the ones. Trump is a Pluto one, right? But the Pluto Virgos, and this is why, Carney's kind of funny because he is a Pluto Virgo. So it'd be interesting to see how long he lasts, because we're in an energy that the Pluto Virgos basically don't. They make a splash, but it's not a big a splash as what you're going to see with the Pluto Libras, because Pluto Libras are the ones to come out to do the big splashes and stuff. And then they're the ones to kind of lead. The Pluto Scorpios, they want to lead, they want to get out there, but somehow they have difficulties with it. They are trying to redefine who they are. They may not have the gumption as much to do it. To the Pluto Sagittarius are just like, well, what the fuck? Why are we trying to do anything? But there is a little undercurrent of conservativeness with them that's rising within that generation to the Pluto Caps. The Pluto Caps came in around, started to come in. He's 2015. So in the 2008. So in around there. So we have these generations that are coming in, especially the ones like Mateus. Mateus will be 10, where they want, and especially Mateus's generation with the Pluto Capricorns, they're not allowed to go outside and play by themselves. You can't just send them up to the park, because there's a fear of some kind of weirdo or some kind of fucking shit going on. So these are the screen kids and part of the COVID kids as well. So these kids aren't out and about. These are also ones that are a little bit older than Mateus, that sort of, got a little bit of brainwashing done, propaganda brought into them. And some of them may have been elixired. Some of them might be identifying as cats. And that would be also the part of the Pluto Sages as well, the later ones, just before 2008, coming in. So it's interesting when you sit back and you watch the different generations. You watch them and you see how things are being played out. And then I look at the astrology, it's being played out the way, with King Henry VIII, it's being played out very much with other alignments as well. Now, today I was going to be doing my workshop, and so I'm not doing it. I had one person, but I haven't heard from her. So I Don't know where she is. But I do have the workbook, and the workbook I find is something that is very helpful to help us to get through the transition. This workbook can be used for the whole year between now and February, but it's to really look at this energy because Saturn going into Capricorn, right? So we got this Saturn going into Capricorn that is coming in, and it feels like we're falling. It feels like, everything is just because it's going into fall position. It's coming from like a water sign, like ether. Here I am into like, into like this sparky, like Aries is the match light, right? So it's lighting the match. And we're having this energy. So many who are not used to a frequency of saying, okay, you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested with your faith. You're going to be tested with and facing your fears, and you got to embrace and be resilient. We have generations that are like, ooh, I can't face my fears. I can't do that. That's too much for me. And their wiring, their programming. And of course, somebody like me or somebody, even a little younger than me might get frustrated and overwhelmed with them because it's like, well, no, just get out there, just do it. But you have to understand their wiring is not the same. Like we are more, I'm going to say, we got a grounding wire within us. And having a grounding wire within us, it really makes a difference to those who don't have that grounding wire. They're not wired into the groundness of the earth. They are wired in many different frequencies that are out there. And being out there with many different frequencies, right? And that's how I see them. It's like, these different frequencies, for them to be like just to do it sometimes, or just, get on with it and face your fears. This is where we're coming into an age of huge mental illness and having to address the mental illness. And it's serious. This is where we have a culture, a generation that just can't function the same way. And it's funny because I talk to some people, I've done, where people ask me questions. That's the one thing. Be careful when you ask me a question. Um because the answer you may not like. And this woman, she asked me a question. Well, my daughter is a Scorpio and blah 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 and this, and told me the age, and I'm like, oh, and I said, well, Scorpios usually carry grudges. Yes, I know this very well. They have to learn how to let go. And she goes, oh, my daughter doesn't hold a grudge. Oh, my daughter doesn't. Oh, that doesn't sound like my daughter. I'm like, okay, I'm just going by the astrology and what you showed me and what you gave me. This is it. A couple weeks later, she goes, oh my God, you're right. She does hold a grudge. Oh my God, you're right. She does have anxiety and all of this. It's just like, because your perception is that you just want to see them in one way. You just want to see everything as being okay until you take the step back, and then you start seeing things in a different light. And that's the whole thing with this energy that's coming in right now, that seeing things into a different light. Now, I did I get so some of the things that especially that's happening right now. So we have the sun is in Gemini. The moon is going into the dark phases this weekend because we have a new moon on Monday. We have the Venus over trining to Mars. We have Jupiter. It's squaring Saturn, and it's doing this all year. Jupiter square Saturn is not easy. It's a very challenging one. It really gets you to, yeah, it's like this new, you want to expand, but then there's restrictions. Very similar to the conjunction they had on December 31st of 20. They want to expand. Jupiter wants to expand and Saturn wants to contract, and now they're fighting against each other. So we have a world where I want to expand, I want to do all this, and then here comes law and order, and it wants to like put some restrictions on it, or let's look into this a little bit more closely. And so we're being tested. We're being tested with our faith. Now, both of them are in fall positions. Both of them do not like to be where the hell they are, right? Because it's just too much in Gemini for them, right? Gemini says this is just too much fucking energy. And we're going to notice when Uranus goes into Gemini, because Uranus is a higher octave to Mercury. So it's going to pull in some really crazy information and really crazy connections that are going to be coming in for many people. And the resilience is going to be key to the energies that are coming in, and especially with this Saturn Neptune transit. Now, Saturn's moving into this new sign, first time in 30 years it's been there. The conjunction that's coming up is not the same. The conjunction is extraordinary, is different. It is one that is bringing in where we are going again, a test of faith, a test of our values, our morals, of our resilience as Pluto, and we also have that square over to Pluto with the sun. It's like, how are we going to create this newness? How are we going to create this new vibration? I shouldn't say the sun is not, sun's trining over to Pluto, but they are, Mars is, anyways, the square over to Pluto. There is this energy of saying we want to unearth this newness, but I don't want to see all the dirt. I don't want to see all the craziness. And some of the craziness that's going on, I mean, we have the Diddy trial that's going on, which is information and stuff that's coming out on that is crazy. They want to get him on racketeering and something about trafficking something. And this is where, with Pluto and Aquarius is, squaring his Scorpio placements. He's a Scorpio. Like, he's a bad Scorpio. But I mean, he's into that disgusting shit, right? So the Scorpio placements of Saturn at the anaretic degrees of Pisces in the karmic reckoning is no joke. Abuse of power, Pluto, secrets unearthed, Pisces and Neptune, structuring, collapsing. I mean, I'm going to be having, like, this is where it's like, if you're doing the work, if you're walking the walk and you're walking your talk, right? Which I really try and do as best as I can. I am human. I do fail a lot. But this is where you get tested, right? If you're doing diddly did shit, then you're going to be exposed. And that's what we're going to see. We're going to see more exposure of things that are very scorpionic, very deep, very disgusting. Biden, he's got his square. His stuff is in the 12th house. So there's a lot of hidden secrets and a lot of hidden information that's there. But his Pluto squaring over to him in Scorpio, well, he's got prostate cancer. I mean, but the prostate cancer, I believe, has gone to the bone. So he is, I mean, it's not, I think he had it already, but I think now it's like they're wanting him to go out with some kind of dignity. But everything about him, all the other stuff that's coming out where he wasn't in charge of the White House, where he wasn't the one who was doing all the calls, it's like, okay, well, then who was? And if you remember what I said, even when he was doing his inauguration, that there wasn't a 20 gun salute when he went into when they go to the cemetery. There wasn't. It was a misfire, which meant an alien has entered in. Okay, so there was something going on from the very beginning. Even the insignia and everything from the army and that they didn't have it on. So there was something going on there, but of course it was shoved underneath the carpet. And now Pluto's saying, really? Well, look at this and look at this. And this is getting us to really look at our humanity. It's getting us to look at how we are interacting, how we are wanting to create a new world. The stock market, wobbly. Yeah. Bitcoin, skyrocket, biggest it was. And then all of a sudden everybody's dumping it, right? Because they're selling off. They want to get their bit. But the thing is that the United States wants to have another currency. And the reason why they want another currency is because their current currency is tied to oil and they don't want to be tied to oil. So they have to do something that is going to bring in a new currency. And that's very much in alignment with the Civil War of the United States, because a new currency did come in, because you had the currency from the South, which was basically worthless afterwards, and the currency of the North. So they had to make a new currency, and that's what Lincoln did, bring in a new currency in for the United States. So, which is what is trying to be done now. Now everybody's going to make a big scene about it because it's Trump who's doing it, and they don't like that. They don't like that. Oh, it's him. If it was somebody else, they probably wouldn't have said anything. But you have that. So the stock markets are going to be really wobbly. They're a little bit all over the place, and that is also with Uranus at the very end of Taurus. I'm getting tired of Uranus and Taurus. I just want him the fuck out of there. But I also know what happens with Uranus and Gemini. That's just activation of a lot more crazier shit. We have that Venus with Mars, and it's wanting to spark something, wants to create something, wants to bring something out, right? So that balancing of the feminine and the masculine. And the old world is crumbling, right? Saturn, going in, it's that old world crumbling, collective grief, karmic accountability, endings about illusions. I mean, we're going to see within the next year, you're going to see a lot of this woke ideology where people are going to say, no, I'm not taking that fucking shit. And they're going to be standing up against it. The other craziness that we've had this week is that what's happening in Germany. I mean, there's been how many stabbings this week in Germany? I mean, we just had one yesterday with, people are just going to catch the train and in comes a psycho, right? So the mental breakdown of people breaking down. Now, it could be tied to something else. The information's not all out about that. But it doesn't either. Well, even if they're tied to something, there is still some kind of breakdown with that. The lovely little Jewish couple that got killed, right? That worked for the embassy, the Jewish embassy. He was going to propose to her. He bought a ring. They weren't politically affiliated with anybody or they just went to they went to some kind of I can't remember, but it had to do with like goodwill, supporting things like that, very cultural event. And some asshole ended their life. You had a stabbing yesterday in downtown Moose Jaw. There was one too in was it, I think it was here in Calgary, because the police tasered him. He was standing there with two knives, just like, I don't know what the fuck it is with people wanting to stabbing. When you look into the energetic field of stabbing, to shoot somebody's different, bang, bang, like you can shoot somebody, but to stab somebody, it is a personal thing. Like you got to get right up to that person and penetrate their skin, penetrate right into their body. So it's a very personal act. So it's something personal that's coming in with that. So, which is horrendous, just totally horrendous with that. So we've had that. And the moon in Taurus, it wants to stabilize things, right? And as it'll be going into, from the moon in Taurus to Taurus, it's going to go into Gemini for Monday at I think it's at 5 degrees. It wants to stabilize emotionally, right? And moving towards curiosity. But the thing is that we got to face the fears. We got to face this. We got to face whatever little demons or shadows that are there for us, because there's something really opening that's coming up that is wanting us to step in and step into something that is greater than us. AI and the tech leaps. Pluto in Aquarius continues to birth strange robot children. It's innovative meets existential crisis. We also have, was it China that came up with a new AI robot? Like you can order robots to look what you want and be anatomically the way that you would like them to be. Craziness of that porn site with those girls. I can never remember the name, but looking like sexy Down syndrome girls. Like, okay, people are gone freaking crazy with that, right? And so they generate a picture of themselves as a Down syndrome person and having this sexy body kind of like, oh my God, OnlyFans. Like, this is where the sick warpedness and disgust of what's happening in the world right now. And it's coming up in our face, and we're just, and sometimes it's like a total overload with it all. And we're just like, what the hell? This is just too much to handle. And this is why it's like, okay, I can see it, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bless this. I'm going to bless it. I'm going to send it love and light. That's what I got to do. I got to send it with love and light, because we are beginning a new karmic cycle. This is a new beginning. Saturn in Pisces from 2023 to 2025 was murky, mystical, often maddening. Yes, Saturn is going to go back in and then come out completely into Aries as of February of next year. It exposed emotional avoidance, spiritual bypassing, and escapism. So we're going to be going through a review of all of that and start really looking about all of that within the world around us and within our own personal selves. This is, as it's going into the cardinal sign of Aries, this is the I am. Personal responsibility goes full send. This is where we're building new identities with integrity, right? So there's integrity, there's responsibility that comes with this. Mars ruled Aries brings force to leadership, courage, and anger. Anger in different ways, anger to the extreme, because Saturn can't control it. It's that anger when you are so angry at, you know, the opposition who just did something devastating to your family, and you are just so enraged that you're not even listening to what's being said or what you should be doing, and you just go full tilt on the opposition, right? That's the type of rage, because people are going to be fed up, right? And frustrated and overwhelmed, where no, we're not taking this. And the clashes that come out, right or wrong, however you want to look at it, they had no right to do that. They have no right to do this. They, it starts to really go a little bit nutty. And Pisces was the final dream. Aries is the first step towards embodiment, embodying that dream, embodying everything. Also, for influencers, we're coming to the end of influencers. You're not going to be hearing about influencers. People aren't going to be making what they used to make off of YouTube. It's not going to be there. So things are going to be changing rapidly as it comes through in different ways of connecting. There's a new internet that's coming in, and that's with the Starlink and bringing in this new internet. So the craziness of, because Aries is electrical, Aries is scientific, not Aries, Aquarius is scientific. It's the I know, with the I am. I know I am. I am no. I know I am. Right? So it's really coming into those truths of who we are. And you're being asked to commit to yourself, be committed, commit to yourself, but not the version others expect. It's to commit to the real you, the brave you, the messy you, the passionate you. That's the one. That's the one that's going to come in, because we're all craving. We're all craving something, right? This is where we want something. Astrology isn't here to scare us. It's here to decode the chaos. When the news is overwhelming and your nervous system is fried from too much screen time or soul anxiety, get outside. Do gardening. Steve's mowing the lawn today. you know, this is breathe with Saturn. Inhale, I am. Exhale, becoming. I am becoming. Use some ashwagandha, or nettle for boundaries and vitality. Skull cap in the evening if you're having problems with anxiety or trying to sleep. Red jasper, and it's, red jasper for grounding, strength, black tourmaline for protection, and selenite for divine downloads, bringing forth that energy to come through you, with you, in you, and all around you. This is, we're coming into a week where Saturn officially enters Aries in the geocentric ingress. Karma meets action, and your soul contract updates. This is for us. This is a totally new beginning, a totally new start. How do you want to start this? How do you want to begin this? What is it that you want to start to begin to create? Even if you feel it's the most stupidest idea in the world, write it down. Write it down, because something's going to come to you, especially when it's with this Venus and Mars trying. Even if you think it's dumb, it's got to be linked to the heart, and what's linked to the heart. And then Jupiter, is going into, is late in Gemini, but it's buzzing ideas, and you'll need to sort the wisdom from the noise. You need to sit down, you need to get into nature, you need to write this out. And the full moon in Sagittarius, or which is at or the new moon. Well, there's going to be a full moon in Sag that will be coming, but this new moon that's coming is bringing in some really crazy vibrations, right? So we have this new moon in Gemini that's happening. This is bringing in truths, spiritual fireworks, and a need to purge some dogma. So we have this energy that's coming in when we have the full moon, and the full moon will be on the 11th of June. That's the full moon in Sag, because we're going to have a new moon in Cancer on the 25th, right after the summer solstice. I mean, the summer solstice, we'll talk about that later, but it's bringing in some crazy radical energy. So as we go through this new moon, we're going to be building up to the full moon. And that full moon is the need. We're going to find between the new moon and the full moon a lot of purging of dogma, a lot of purging of what no longer aligns with us. We're going to be, because things are going to be like, that waxing moon is really going to inflate a lot that's around us for us to see. So we really need to come into that inner warrior is being initiated. We got to walk the earth and the needs, walk like the earth needs our spark. Walk like the earth needs your spark. Walk like this inner warrior. You are the warrior is being initiated. We're coming into this initiation, and it is one that is getting us to really do the internal work, whether you like it or not. This is where the craziness is, like, from the Diddy trials to the craziness of people being stabbed, everything in between, to that of someone trying to bring forth more peace and love into the world. And there's that's happening as well. And that's where we have to focus on the peace and love within our own selves. Crazy world, crazy world. I do have a tarot spread that I designed. You just think I'm a pretty face, but I'm not just a pretty face. And we'll do the tarot spread if I can find my weird. Usually, my tarot cards are right here. That's very odd. Hang on. Oh, I woke up with such a backache today. My one back and my left hip. My right hip, I should say, from my accident. Oh my goodness, today. Had to really stretch it out. And then when I did my stretch and I laid back and sort of arched up, everything in my back went crack, 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 crack. So the first card we're going to pull out, it's going to be the fire within me. What inner passion or drive is being reignited? Okay. So the first card is our fire within us. So let's see what the fire in us is. Guys, ready? And if you're wanting a reading, get a hold of me. We'll book you in. We'll book you in. I have some space next week if you want to get in right away. Oh, this card just flew out. The fire within me. What inner passion or drive is initiating a new start? Accepting something new. That's what it's initiating. You're being handed something that you don't want. You're wanting things to be the way it was. But it's this passion that's coming in that's wanting you to accept things. The old structure. What outdated belief, role, or fear must I? It's the 4, but it's reversed. It means that you have to get up and get going. It means that you have to start doing something. That's the outdated belief. It's like, it's that fear that instead of, we come from an age where everybody, let's do Netflix and cuddle or whatever, or let's, wrap up and have some tea. I mean, that was the real push. But this, that's the old structure. It's outdated. We're getting up, this is getting us to look at, what do you fear most? Getting up and getting out there? Is that what you fear? You fear that you are being called to action. That's why you don't want to take the cup. The cup is coming in and saying you have to take some action. And the new commitment is you got to let go of the old and walk into the new. Right? You got to take responsibility for the now. That's what's coming in. Taking that responsibility. But you don't want to take the responsibility because it's scary. It's the unknown. There's a lot of fear that's coming in with this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get up out of bed. I don't want to I don't want to go to the office. I don't want to be around other people. Well, we're in an age where you have to be around other people. You can't be by yourself anymore. You can't go and isolate yourself. That's not what is coming forward. And the challenge, what resistance or test will arise from this? That you take a new perspective on life. That's a major arcana. That means that you're taking a really new perspective on the way the world is, on the way you want to live your life. That's the test that's going to arise, that you are looking and you have that challenge. The Hangman is not an easy card. It's not an easy card at all. I'm not a Hangman fan. There's a few cards I'm not a fan of. But the Hangman is one, along with the Moon card. Moon card I don't like either. But the Hangman is perspective, right? What are my options at this time? Meditation on personal hopes and dreams. When one door opens, another always opens. When one door closes, another one opens. This is allowing yourself to walk through that new door, but do you want to walk through it because the opportunity is being handed to you? Are you accepting the opportunity? That means you got to get up and do something in order to accept it, in order to go forward. But no, you're looking at everything that was. There's still hanging on to the past, hanging on to the old cycles, the old ways. This is the way we've done it. This is the way that I need to do it. These new ideas, this new technology, this whatever it is not what I want. It doesn't look the way I want it. But the gift of this cycle, the wisdom that's coming in with this cycle, the power that's going to emerge with Saturn and Aries. The Queen of I don't give a fuck comes in. That's what's going to emerge is intellect, understanding. She knows what she wants. She's going to go forth. The information is coming in. She's going to understand your feeling. She's going to understand, but this is intellect. This is fire and air. Not a lot of emotion with fire and air. Yeah, fire has passion and it gets out there. But when it comes to their emotions and they have a passion, I don't really give a fuck about you because, and it's not that they don't love you, it's just they have, this is what I'm going to do. That's my passion. And that's what's coming forth very strongly, stepping into that passion, stepping into that knowledge of the knowing. The queen is a very tough nut. She doesn't argue. She comes in with discernment. She comes in with this um looking at all the facts and making, and looking to all the facts before making any judgments. Like, she's not going to make a judgment on something. She's going to look at everything, but she's going to base it on what she knows. She's going to base it, this is the reality and this is the fact of things. But your emotions are going to come in and say, no, I don't want that because it doesn't feel the way I want it to feel. It's not my usual guru kind of passionate love and everything else. So no, I'm sorry, there's no more spiritual bypassing. There's no more here, let me take care of you. No, we're going to start taking responsibility for shit. We're going to start taking responsibility for the world around us and saying, yeah, we got some really sick people in this world that need love, that we can't just bypass them anymore. Because if we bypass them, then we're bypassing ourselves, because they are a reflection of who we are. And that's a hard one. You see those drug addicts, you see those people on the street. That's a reflection of our inner world. Taking responsibility for that is a huge one. And that's where we're at. And that's where Saturn and Neptune come in. And it's a kaleidoscope and a colossal collision of energy that is very explosive, especially in Aries, ruler by Mars, and Mars in Leo. Woo! It wants us to look at some shit. And so this is what, through the sharpness and the intellectualism, this is bonding for life with people who get, you get me. You understand me. You know where we're going. We can bond. We could grow. We could do something fabulous. But we got to accept it. And that's where we're at, is accepting it. Oh, crazy energy, people. Got a battle on our hands with our own internal cosmos. So, on that note, I want you all to have a fabulous, fabulous time. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless you. If you want my booklet, let me know. I'll send it out to you right away. It is something that I've been working on a lot of little booklets. So, and this is a booklet you can utilize and work on throughout the year. So definitely get a hold of it. It's going to help to guide you. God bless, and the goddess bless you. Bye-bye, everybody.